On today's Earthworks Pro Tip, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to ask some frequently asked questions from our social media pages, as well as people that come into the store. And so, for the first question that I want to address today with Charlie is actually in the form of two questions that was asked. Charlie, when is the best time to aerate and top dress a zoysia lawn? As well, when is the best time to remove thatch from zoysia grass?
Yeah, good question. So the best time to aerate and top dress or dethatch a zoysia lawn, or for that matter, any warm season lawn, is going to be somewhere in the early summer time frame. We want to do this when our grass is at its healthiest, because with both aeration and dethatching, you are actually damaging the grass. And so we want to do that when it's at its healthiest. We also want to make sure that a couple of weeks prior, we do an application of fertilizer so that we ensure the grass is healthy and at its strongest, or in its strongest condition.
All right, Charlie, another question that was asked: when and how much should I be watering my turf?
Yeah. So you want to water your turf after the dew has fallen in the morning. So the dew fall is usually between 2 and 4 a.m. So anytime after 4 a.m. is a good time to water your turf. And we do that because we want to not water it during the hottest part of the day, as it can burn or scald your turf. But we also don't want to prolong the period of time that our grass is wet, creating fungus. So naturally the grass is going to be wet between 2 and 4. And so we want to go ahead and put our water down immediately after that so we can go ahead and start the drying process. As far as how much we want to water, grasses range from needing about 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week. So that's it's going to be determined by whether you have newly installed turf or if you have established turf. So new turf, we're going to water frequently with less water. We want to keep the either seeds or new sod consistently wet so that it can germinate and or root in. With established turf, we want to water infrequently, but with a higher quantity of water. So that may look like only watering 1 to 2 times a week. And if you're looking at 1.5 inches of water, you want to make sure that you're putting down 3/4 of an inch of water twice a week, either by irrigation or by rain.
All right, Charlie, our next question from our folks on social media: what is the difference between topsoil and compost?
So this is a question that could have many answers. Topsoil is actually soil that is removed from the top of your soil. A lot of folks sell an organic topsoil that is considered more of a compost, but topsoil is the top 5, 6, 7 inches of soil that is in your yard or on someone's property that has been impacted by leaf matter or some other organic matter over time, and it becomes richer than our natural clay. So topsoil is the top layer of soil that's unaltered, and you don't actually add your own organics to that. So compost is a product that is a blended mixture of organic debris, whether that's food compost, mushroom compost, sometimes manure. You want greens and browns, so leaf matter, and you want grasses that are green, you want plants that are green, something in there that provides some nitrogen content to break down the compost. And the compost is typically used as a soil amendment rather than a straight soil, which is where topsoil would be used.
So Charlie, tell us, talking about driveways, what is the appropriate gravel to put on a driveway?
Yeah, this is another question that could have a couple of different answers. Some of that is personal preference. Some folks like Crusher Run, which is your traditional driveway gravel. It's a blended mixture again of a solid stone and quarry dust, which is something like sand. And the quarry dust helps that that gravel settle in, creating a nice compacted driveway. The downside to crusher run is it can be messy. You can track that in on your feet into the home, or you may track it out into the road with your tires. Some folks prefer a wash stone. We would recommend 57 stone for that. Again, the upside is it's a clean wash stone, so there's no quarry dust or any debris in there. The downside is it will not compact quite as well as crusher run, and so it will sometimes you'll lose traction with a tire, or it can be loose, and you may lose stability on foot on 57 stone.
So this question comes from our animal lovers out there and our insect lovers. How can I bring more butterflies to the yard?
Sure. So with any insect or animal you're looking to bring to your landscape, or you're looking to care for, they need a few basic things. They need shelter, they need food, and they need water. So you can do that by proper plantings that will encourage butterfly larvae, give a place for butterfly larvae to attach and then hatch. And then you need to plant some flowers that are pollen and nectar producing plants for food for the butterflies, and then shallow water gardens for water. You do not want a deep pool, because the butterfly needs a place to land to be able to drink the water. So a nice pool with some stones in there that are up above the water, where the butterfly can land and then drink. There's many plants around here that will produce the needed nectar for butterflies. You can give us a call, and we'll be happy to give you that list. And then the same for shelter as well. There's quite a few plants, a lot, native grasses and things of that nature, thick plants that the larva can hide and be immune to predators.
Very interesting. I think here's a question I think that every one of us would want to know. Can I permanently get rid of weeds?
Yes, you can install concrete. That's about the only way you can permanently get rid of weeds. No, the short answer is no, you can't. Just like anything in the landscape, weeds take maintenance. There is no good way to permanently get rid of weeds. There are some chemicals out there that will sterilize the soil, but if we do that, then we've completely eliminated any chance of being able to plant anything else. And so if we're looking to get rid of weeds in a flower bed, we obviously don't want to do that. And so the short answer to that is no, it just simply takes maintenance.
I got you. All right, we just have a few more questions here. Some people I know don't want animals or creatures or critters in their yard. So here was a question from one of our social media folks. What is the best solution for voles and moles?
Yeah, they're a real problem around here. Voles and moles both. Primarily we see moles. They will create a tunnel through the yard, and not only is it unsightly, it does kill grass, and it can create a tripping hazard if the tunnels are big enough. So there are some options chemically that we can use to get rid of moles. The unfortunate part about those is they're all baits. So you can kill the active moles, but there is no residual treatment that works well for moles or voles. You can also trap them. There are small traps that you can set in the yard. They're hit or miss, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. But the short answer is there are ways we can control a mole problem, but there is no way to keep them out. They do sell some mole repellents. I've never seen one that works, and so it really becomes a battle of wills between the homeowner and the creature, and so you just got to stay at it.
Switching gears a little bit, talking about plants and flowers, and what is the difference between annuals and perennials?
Sure, yeah. So the difference between an annual and a perennial is an annual, hence the name, must be replaced annually. An annual will not survive the changes in our climate. and so they have a single life cycle, bloom without reproducing seeds, or if they do reproduce seeds, they don't also survive our climate changes. A perennial has a recurring life cycle where they may either drop seeds or the plant itself may go into dormancy at some point and then reemerge the following year in its proper season. So annuals replace annually, perennials plant hopefully one time if cared for well, and they come back year after year.
And for our final question, at what height do you want to cut your lawn?
Yeah, so that's going to be a multi-part answer to that one. So we have two different types of grasses, and we've discussed those in previous blogs and videos. Warm season grasses, your Bermudas, zoysias, centipedes primarily. Your cool season grasses, or grass, primarily is fescue around here. So your warm season grasses during prime growing season, spring to fall, you're going to want to mow those in the 2-inch range, give or take a little bit. When they go into dormancy around here, you can increase that mowing height just a little bit, 2.5 inches, maybe 3 if you really want to push it, just to provide a little more insulation for the winter. Fescue is flip-flopped. So in the summertime, fescue is stressed, and although it does not go completely dormant, as in, brown turf, as we call it around here, as for the warm season grasses, it does go through a period of dormancy and doesn't grow well. And so at that time, we want to mow it quite high in the summertime. We want to mow it 3.5, really even 4 inches. And then through the fall and winter months, we can get away with mowing it a little bit lower.
Gotcha. Well, guys, I thank you for joining us today. This has been a great Earthworks Pro Tip session, and hope you've taken something away that you can also apply at your own place. If you have further questions, please reach us on our website at earthworkssc.com or call us at 864-423-3844. Let us know how we can help you with any of your landscape demands.